Yeah, really talented team, really good team. Can I think win a national championship with their talent? It's so smooth. Rory Harmon smooth, Madison Booker smooth. Really disturb you defensively too. So for me, it's you're playing a really good team, and we weren't at our best. If you're not at your best, you're not you can't compete with that team. So if we play that game 10 times, you could lose all 10 for sure, but you got to play really well, and we just didn't play really well today. So, there's a couple feathers for me, like out rebounding them is a step. I was proud of that, but we got to be better than that, and it's good because it's going to make us better. Go ahead.
Their length and athleticism, how much of a factor was that in the 24 turnovers, and how many of those turnovers did you feel were maybe getting flustered in the moment?
Yeah, I just said that to radio was, I can't tell exactly how many were which, but I mean, it is. Their length and athleticism is massive, and it speeds you up, and it makes you do stuff that you're not used to doing. And when I'm going through it, it's like, man, we drew up the back door, we had it, she throws it to the backstop, but I'm not watching the pressure on the ball at that time. I was watching the back door, was it open, right? Our side out of bounds late, we have Ashanti on the back screen again, and it gets tipped. Like, little things like that. And I thought we just played a little bit out of character, especially right from the beginning. You could tell we were, I don't want to say maybe nervous, maybe excited. I don't know the exact feeling, but I think that's what he hangs his hat on, is the defensive end. And so I would say most of it is that, but there's a percentage in there that we just played outside of ourselves a little bit today, I thought.
And then they opened the game with an 11-0 run. You call that quick timeout. You played them even for the rest of the quarter. What did you like in the way that your kids responded after that timeout?
Yeah, we just settled down, man. Like, you guys are doing stuff I've never seen you do. We shot like 3 air balls. But no, it was like we got to become the aggressor and be the aggressor together. And I thought we did that. I thought Roe really helped us with that, was just settling us down. And I thought the quarter was good to us after that. Now you're behind the 8 ball, but and they wore us down the second quarter. But it's just one of those days, man. It's like Jordan Lee's 2 for 13 coming into this game from 3, and she's 6 for 6. It's like, okay, we didn't get that performance from somebody, right? And that's what you have to have in a game like this. You have to have Angela Williams go, 7 for 8 from 3. It's something different, right? Where we weren't able to play well enough to play with them. But the end of that quarter was good, and I thought it gave us a chance. Like, which way is this thing going to go? Is it going to get tighter or not? And it was not.
You talked about how your team played out of character. Can you talk about what you saw that was out of character, but also kind of what you saw that was in character and that you kind of took away as a positive? Yeah,
just rushing. It was just shots that Sushi had one of them. I thought it was an air ball. It was like, how much of that is the length of the post player in there? Is it like I'm turning to shoot it? Oh, wow, her hands are up. I got to shoot it higher than I usually would. So it was all of them, I thought, like that. I thought Jamia too, and even Z. It just, you could tell it was out of rhythm, and I'd like to believe it was just the excitement of the whole thing. And we're playing hard, but you weren't necessarily playing smart. And so the timeout wasn't yelling. It was like, calm down, like, let's be us. And I thought we were after that. And I thought there was a little bit more fearlessness after that point in time for at least the end of the quarter.
So you've mentioned how kind of each game you're still learning about your players. What have you been seeing from Roe and learning from her, especially with this game?
I mean, just listening to her. It's like she's always had the ability to score the ball, right? We can all see that. But, one of my messages was like, well, let's win the fourth quarter. And I kept hearing her say that, was like, hey, let's win the fourth. Here we go. And she at one point was like, what are we down, right? Are we up or down? And I'm like, no, we're down 1, right? So, that is falling in line with me a little bit, right? And that's where her growth is that she and I are getting closer. She's starting to understand me more. I'm starting to understand her more. And that's only going to be good for us moving forward. And so clearly, it was nice for me to see, because she didn't play great up at Notre Dame as far as scoring the ball. It was nice for me to see her be able to score at this level, right at the high major level, knowing that we're going to need her to score in the Sun Belt for sure.
Some of your best teams have been able to compete with these caliber of teams, and I think you come into this one kind of thinking this might be one of your best teams you had. Like, just how much do you think you're going to see progression as the year goes on, especially when you've got a couple more, quad one type games here just coming up?
Yeah. I just hope we're learning from it, right? And that's the whole thing is like, I do think we can compete. I thought we had like an average day. If you have an average day, you can't compete, right? And so that's a little bit of what it is. It's like, all right, let's look at ourselves. Where do we get exposed? And now that we're exposed, how can we get better with that? And so, yeah, it doesn't get easier, right? We go up to Villanova. That's not going to be an easy one, right? We go NC State after that for Merry Christmas, right? And it's like, but that's what I want. That's what I want. And this team is different than the other teams in the sense of there's no hanging heads in there. They know they're good, and I know they're good. And it's like, yeah, what we have to do is be able to execute better in a situation like this. And this only makes us better in the Sun Belt. I'm hoping for it to make us better if and when we can get to the NCAA tournament, right? And I think this team is you're talking a 1 seed, 2 seed. We'd have to drop way off as far as net to play one of them in the first round. It's more like a second round team right here, in my opinion.
And you talked about Roe, like her scoring versus this caliber team. Like, what else did you see maybe that was different than a couple weeks ago at Notre Dame? I just thought,
mentality and being on the same page with me, right? I'm learning her, and you know what? Back at Notre Dame, I think it was our third game, if I'm not mistaken. She was, and we had a conversation about it. She wasn't used to coming off the bench. It was like, I feel out of place with this. Like, I don't feel right with this. And I think this is a little bit more like she's gotten into the flow of that, and I think she knows. And I'm learning her better. What plays are better for her? What plays she likes? What plays she didn't? But it's just falling in line with each other, and that's really what's changing or growing with us is a better way to put it.
Actually meant more like for the whole team, as far as like, obviously the score was a little lopsided, but was there things that playing this caliber opponent that you saw were different?
I see. Yeah, I mean, look, I thought we battled better on the glass. It's hard. It feels like they made every shot, but beating them on the glass. And I thought our defense, like for me, we had this zone as a backup plan, right? And I thought it was going to work, right? They don't want to shoot threes. Now Jordan Lee comes out banging threes. It's like, okay, this is not going to work. But we played the whole second half in man, right? And that's becoming who we are. And you lose the second half by 2. And I know you're down 30, right? So it's different. There's a different edge to Texas maybe, but not a possession of zone. And I said my bad at halftime. I was like, look, I've softened you guys too much. Like, we're soft. So now when Rory Harmon goes in there's no resistance. Even if she's not shooting a 3, there's no resistance. Madison Booker wasn't feeling resistance. So I took that one on my chest because that's what I believed. It's like I softened us. And then, yeah, we were able to come out in the second half. But, I think Roe has an ability to lead as well. And I think this is all just part of the getting know process with everybody, right? And a team, everything is like hearing her voice, and she's got an ability, she's got a charisma to her.
You mentioned the rebounding, and I started by asking about their length and their athleticism. How encouraging is it to take a team like that and to be kind of even on the glass there?
It's good, and I think in the film I'll be like not as good, right? But yeah, for Peyton to get 8 rebounds, right? Angela comes up with 6. Shanti comes up with 6. I thought it is encouraging for me. I think the best teams I've coached, they would be able to go a +5, +8 on this, but it's okay. And it's a little bit thrown off because they shot 54%. It's crazy. Thank you, guys.